This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Hi, everybody. I'm RJ Metzger.
And I'm Rachel Metzger.
And we're the Skeptical Skeptics.
Each week we talk about all the crazy things in the world, ranging from the paranormal to Bigfoot to UFOs.
And we look at it from the perspective of the believer, the skeptic, and everything in between.
So come check us out on the MSC Podcast Network.
Or go to skepticalskeptics.com and follow us at SkepSkepPod on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Hey everyone, Chris here. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wasting Time. I just want to let you know we had some technical difficulties recording this one. The microphone we used actually cut out at the very end as we're getting to our final question on this. So you might hear that the podcast kind of just cuts off. That's sadly intentional. That's kind of our workaround on this, but it's a great episode. I don't think you missed much. I think we lost maybe like 5 minutes of this podcast. So thank you for listening. We will be back shortly with a new Wasting Time right here on Big Heads Media. Hey everyone, you are Wasting Time with Chris, Beth, and Matt. My name is Chris Williams. With me today are
Beth Golpe
and
Matt December.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
So good. How are you?
I'm great. Refreshed, ready to go after a nice long break of recording.
Yeah, this is good.
So we're doing something that we used to do on our old podcast quite a bit.
Aww.
We used to, from time to time, when we kind of needed an idea or a prompt or just knew there'd be a lot of good stories coming, we would pick a topic, we would put a lot of questions about that topic in a hat, and we would draw them out.
Yeah.
Very simple. So we're doing that today, and the topic is firsts. Since this is our first time doing this on the podcast, I thought we'd ask questions about kind of our first experiences about a bunch of different things.
Did anyone put in first roller coaster?
I can't
We'll
tell
have to
you.
see.
We'll see.
We'll have to see. But yeah, so very simple. So Matt, do you want to...
You want me to
does
try
wanna
again?
do- He
We're on
wants
the
to drop-
roll. We have
it's a
recorded.
trend.
This is our fourth episode that we're recording tonight. And every time you have gone first, and every time it has resulted in great radio.
Was it
So,
really?
it has. So I don't want to jinx it. Keep going.
Okay, all right. So here we go.
So are we all answering these?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so.
okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so. All right,
sounds
so we go. All right, so I picked this one. Ooh, this is the one. This is a good one. I'm excited to pull this one up. It is your first R-rated movie in a theater.
Oh, very good. Very good.
So my first R-rated movie in a theater was, and I had seen R-rated movies at home prior to this. My dad had kind of, he didn't really believe in the rating system so much. At least as far as I
Just
was
a gentle suggestion.
Yeah, it's very
Government can't tell you what to see, Matt.
Yeah. So we saw this first R-rated movie theaters, and I believe it was 1991, which would have made me about 9. Was the film Terminator 2?
Oh.
I went and saw that in theaters, and it was my dad and my stepmom and my brother and I, and we had seen. I believe we had rented either that same weekend or maybe the weekend before or the weekend before that. Within a couple of weeks prior to that, I believe we had rented and watched Terminator 1.
Nice.
In anticipation. And that's obviously rated R, very intense. And again, I was like 9. And so we went and saw that in theaters. We went and saw it at the AMC 20. And what I remember most about that movie, about seeing that, was that as you may recall, one of the opening scene, it's in the future.
Yeah.
And there's I think it's a playground, and there's like a pile of skulls.
Yes.
There's a skull, and it's like it's just a close up of the skull, and all of a sudden a Terminator's metallic foot, wham, crushes the skull. And my memory of this is that I was sitting next to my brother, we had popcorn, he had his bucket of popcorn, and the skull gets crushed by this foot, and my brother goes, ah! And the popcorn, about 2/3 of the total popcorn goes straight up in the air, because he was, he was
Sure.
we were all on edge. My brother and I were on edge, because, we were way too young to be in this.
Yeah.
Right.
And, Yeah, that was really cool. That's like my memory of going to the theater to see that. Also, that movie was awesome.
That is a great
It's a
Yeah.
friggin' great movie.
I mean, that's such a good first rated R in theaters
Yes.
story.
Yeah, it was a really good art movie. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. Okay, so that was mine. That's mine. That's my story.
And that's not a bad one to take a kid to. Because, I mean, it's R, but I don't know. It seems like one...
There's a butt.
Arnold's butt?
Yeah.
I have seen Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was weird to...
You see his butt a lot, though.
I was going to say, as a 9-year-old boy, I'd seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's butt a lot. So that's weird, I think, to think about.
But it's not an overly graphically violent movie.
That's true.
No, I
mean,
mean...
it's intense in places.
It's intense. Although, I mean, there...
Is it rated R for violent? It would be the violence.
The T-1000, like, stabbing people through the head with his, like, knife arm.
Nope,
that stuff's intense.
That's true.
That stuff's intense.
Yeah.
But, like, the gun violence is very, like... that's very
That's
cartoony.
just good old American.
That's good old, yeah. Yeah, it's really all the stabbing and stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of stabbing, yeah.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah. I think I'm going to win, but we'll see what you guys say.
I think you
Chris, what about you?
So mine actually came much later than Matt's, because mine was 1995 and I would have been 16. So here's the deal. My parents were pretty strict about what we could watch, and I'd seen a few R-rated movies at home, like we'd watch Die Hard or things like that. But my dad was really strict about you could not go see an R-rated movie in the theater until we say it's okay. And I was kind of a rule follower, so I would not sneak into R-rated movies. And one time I did try, and I got carded, so I did not get to go see Get Shorty. But
missed opportunity.
But in May of 1995, the dam kind of broke, and my dad took us to go see the Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman submarine thriller, Crimson Tide.
That is a good one, too. I was just talking about that movie.
That is a great movie.
It is a great movie.
And we were excited because, it's an R-rated movie, so we get to go see a good grown-up movie. But I rewatched that a few years ago. That is a really good movie. That holds up. It's also got... It's got James Gandolfini's in it.
Oh, yeah, that's
Viggo
right.
Mortensen's in
Viggo
it.
Mortensen was in it.
Quentin Tarantino did some script work on it.
Yeah.
But that was the summer. Like, it broke open. Like, we saw Crimson Tide. 2 weeks later, my dad took me to see Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh,
we went back and we saw Braveheart later that summer. So that was a good summer. Good movie. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Crimson Tide is a good movie. I really like that movie a lot. So I'm glad that was your first rated R movie.
Yeah, that was a good one. Beth, what about you?
Well, I had seen rated R movies a couple. So I had also very strict upbringing with the rating system. I was really not allowed to watch anything. I mean, that's not true. I had seen pretty much every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, on, like, VHS up to that point. Like, I don't know, Predator and... I'm trying to think. But, those kind of movies my dad didn't have a problem with, but I had never seen, like, a scary movie or a sexual movie or anything like that.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen a rated R movie in theaters. So I just checked. It was 1999. So I was 16. And it was the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And I remember being so nervous because I don't know if you remember the shaky cam thing. Like, people were like, I just remember hearing, like, people were throwing up in theaters. Yeah. And it was like, people were people were just streaming out of the theater. They couldn't take it. It was too scary. And it was just too real. And it ended up, like, that movie is so not a big deal.
Yeah. I never saw it.
You never saw it?
Oh
I saw it in theaters, but I saw it when it was still... People still didn't know exactly what it was, like, if it was real or not. And I remember people were, after the movie, sobbing and hugging each other. like, it was messed up. And I kind of figured, this isn't real, because they're not going to put a snuff film in the theaters. But I remember being pretty creeped out when I got home that night.
I mean, it was like the first of its kind.
It's a well done movie.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it. I mean, I like it too. It just wasn't terribly. I didn't throw up or cry or or have any like reaction like that. And the second one I just checked, the first rated R movie I ever saw was at a sleepover and I was probably like in 5th or 6th grade. This is terrifying, but it was threesome with
I feel like we've had this conversation
with Josh Charles and Stephen Baldwin.
That is a weird.
Laura Flynn Boyle. And I went home with a stomach ache, like, because I was like, I shouldn't be watching this.
It's too much.
It's like, I was like my first time seeing butts. It was like,
oh my god,
dudes kissing. It was so like
That's intense for 5th grade or whatever.
Yeah, it was intense. I mean, if you could understand how sheltered I was, it was really, really shocking. I was with the cool girls. Ugh. You know, the cool girls in
all the
elementary
cool
school.
girls like, let's watch threesome.
Well, it was a girl's older sister
hot.
who gave it to us to watch. Like, this one, my friend's older sister was like,
dumb.
"Oh, you have to watch it because Stephen Baldwin is so hot." And I'm like, I don't even know what hot means.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm in 5th grade. I don't know what that means.
And then Scream was the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And Scream messed me up. I had to sleep with my little sister for probably a month.
Yeah.
After I saw that,
Scream's
it messed me up.
Yeah.
Good choices, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Blair Witch could be. I could do better, but I could do worse.
You could do worse.
You know. Okay, I'm gonna pick one now.
Okay.
And I was just about to cheat, so I closed my eyes.
Cheat.
Oh, this is another one. Chris wrote. I can tell. First job.
Okay. Start off.
Oh, sure. So my first job, right when I got my car, was working at the Dairy Queen.
Oh, that was your first job?
Yeah. Just down on, it was just a few miles from my house. I worked there for a whole summer. It wasn't great. Yeah. I don't have like really any super
How many times did you
funny stories or anything.
How many times did you get burned by the
I really burned, so someone did turn the hot fudge temperature up way too high, and then when I went to pump it, it splattered all over my arm, and I got seriously burned, and I had to have burn cream and, like, wrappings and everything.
Oh.
It was a real injury. And it was, like, owned by this, it was, like, a family-owned business, and they were so scared that I was going to sue them, presumably, or, you know, whatever, that they let me kind of I could sort of pick my own. They stopped making me, like, clean the bathrooms and stuff, because, I mean, I had to do, it was, like, me and one other girl that I was friends with in high school, and we were the only two people that weren't related to them that worked there.
Worked there? Oh,
so we had to do everything that no one else wanted to do, which was like we had to clean the bathrooms, we had to clean the floors, we had to, like, you know, just do all the crap clean the machines, which, like, was such a, you know, just such a chore.
Yeah.
Cleaning all those ice cream machines and
Yeah.
with the just, like, ice cream water, like, you know, it's like a rag, and you're with the ice cream and it's melting, and you just have the hot water, and it's just gross, like.
Yeah.
And but you know, it didn't turn me off from Dairy Queen or anything.
Well,
like,
good.
I still eat there, whatever. I mean, I will never turn down a Blizzard.
Yeah. Oh, boy,
we used to be able to, like, take home the mistakes at the end of the night, or, like, if people, you know, whatever, if you made the wrong thing or screwed it up somehow, you could just, like, shove it in the freezer, and then at the end of the night, you could take it home.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But, like, there was always, like, baseball teams coming in, and you just, like, baseball teams, like, all 7-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And just, like, I remember just seeing them all pouring in, and you just know, like, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing for the next just hours.
Yeah.
You know? Ugh.
Sorry.
It's all right. You got to do what you got to do. I think I made, like, $5.60 an hour. It was,
my gosh.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. That's not a lot.
Nope. What about you guys?
Chris, what did you come on?
My first job was my uncle owned. Do you guys know Cloverleaf Pizza?
Yeah.
So he owned a franchise of that in Warren.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't open that long, but he owned a franchise at 12 and Hoover. And when I turned 15, my mom said, "You are 15. You need to get a job. You are going to your uncle's pizza restaurant."
That's terrible.
So I became a dishwasher at his restaurant for $4.25 an hour.
Oh my
God.
Minimum wage at the time. And I hated it. It was awful
That
because
sounds awful.
they didn't have a dishwashing machine, so everything was like the 3-sink system.
Yeah.
So I would get bleach all over me.
Oh my
I would get
gosh.
grease all over me. I burnt myself. I cut myself. I had an assistant manager who bullied me and said, "Yeah, you can go home early if you let me punch you in the arm as hard as I can." And I considered it because I hated working there so much.
Oh, that's terrible.
And but I got to bring my own pizza home. And,
that's nice, yeah.
So that was fun. You load it up with cheese and stuff, and it was great. But that's the perk. I also drank like 60 ounces of Mountain Dew every day.
Oh, that does sound
which
good.
I am sure my insides are just sludge right now because of that.
Still?
Probably.
Oh,
Mountain
Chris.
Dew dissolves you. So yeah, that was my first job.
Did you eat a lot of pizza that
I ate
summer?
a ton of
Like
pizza.
I didn't eat
It
very
wasn't
much
a summer
ice
job.
cream.
I had this job for a year.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah, I had
I've
this
never heard
job,
of this job.
because I couldn't quit. Here's the thing: like one time they scheduled me. I had requested off for a concert, and they couldn't give it to me off, so I quit because I wanted to go to the concert and I hated the job anyway. And my mom made me march back and like ask for my job back.
After
but-
the concert.
No, I didn't get to go to the concert.
Oh!
But they were so worried about losing me, they still gave me a raise and bought a dishwashing machine. So that was good, but I still hated the job.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
So yeah, that was my first job. It sucked. Matt, what about you?
I guess my first job was... I guess it must have been Kohl's, because I don't remember having any kind of, like...
That's the first job I ever knew you worked at.
yeah,
but
I think it must have been the Kohl's job, and that would have been... That job I worked at for a couple of years. Well, it was like a summer job, but I worked there over multiple summers and a couple of Christmases. So I think I started working there like the summer between my sophomore and junior year, maybe? And then like the summer between my junior and senior year. And then... I don't know if I worked out there another summer, but yeah, so I worked at the Kohl's at Lakeside Mall. I worked in the seasonal department, which was, in my estimation, the best spot to work in. Because
yeah, it was
Christmas stuff
toys.
it was toys
Nice.
and luggage and Christmas stuff or Halloween stuff or whatever, seasonal, and the Hallmark cards. And the Hallmark cards we didn't actually do anything with. I mean, we cleaned them up if they like got messed up, but we didn't stock them.
Did Hallmark come stock
Yeah,
them?
they had like a person come in and do them. So it was never more than one person in that department because it was so small. So if I was working, I was the only one in there. I basically did whatever I wanted because I don't know. It's a poorly run company or something. I don't know what they thought I was doing. I was like a 16-year-old boy, and they're like,
I remember thinking like you definitely had the most adult summer job of all of us. Though it was like you had to wear like nice clothes.
I did. Yes, I had to wear collar. Like I wore mostly collared shirts. I mean, if there were polos and khakis, and like I couldn't wear sneakers. I don't think. I don't think I wore sneakers. And yeah, like I stocked and I helped people, but I spent a lot of time in the stock room because you could just go back there and hang out, and like that's how I passed the time. I just would like, oh, I'm gonna go stock up the toy department. And I just go hang out with the toys in the stock room.
Nice.
And that job paid pretty well, I guess, from the sound of it. Because you said, would you make $4 something?
I was $4.25. That was
I was
minimum wage.
$5.60. $5.60.
I think I was making like $7.
Good Lord.
I know.
Wow, big money.
They were a really busy, popular store, though. They did They did a lot of business. I don't know what it's like now, but when I was working there, they did a ton of business. They were like one of the busiest stores in the
I think department
region.
stores are kind of having a hard time right now.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, so this is obviously pre-internet days,
Right.
so it was always packed in there. Yeah, that was a fun job. So that was my first job. I like that job.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, Chris, go ahead.
All right. First concert. That's not a bad one. Oh gosh.
Mine's really embarrassing.
Oh, you haven't heard anything yet. So my first concert had to be probably 93. So I'd have been 14. It was Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Oh,
Who is a kind of an adult contemporary Christian singer.
That's okay.
And I went and saw him at Hill Auditorium. Yeah, I remember very little about it. I remember I liked his album, so my parents bought us tickets. It was fun. We got to go to Ann Arbor.
Aww.
But it was a nice little concert. But a fun fact is, I just went and saw a concert a few weeks ago. I saw Switchfoot, and the band that opened up for them was a band called Colony House, who was really good, and they are fronted by Stephen Chris Chapman's son.
Oh.
Kind of came full circle.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. So that was my first. There's really nothing that I remember it was just, that's just like on the album. But there's not much of a story to it.
Yeah.
I wish I had a better story.
I've got an okay story for mine. I mean, it's not a great story, but the first concert I went to, I actually think I was a little old to be going to a first concert. I think I might have been, or maybe not, I don't know. My stepmom used to get a lot of free concert tickets to, I guess it was Pine Knob, through work. And so it's like basically anything we wanted to go see, we could go see. And I didn't care about concerts. I mean, I liked music, I guess, but I didn't care about concerts. But for some reason, my dad, we had tickets to see. The headliner was ZZ Top.
Wow.
The opening act was Loverboy.
Wow.
Yeah. And so my dad was like, "Oh, let's go see this." So I was like, "Okay." So my dad and I went to Pine Knob to see Loverboy and ZZ Top. And the thing I remember about it, well, I remember two things about it. One, ZZ Top is terrible. And two, there was a lot of women flashing at this concert.
No!
Wow.
Yeah.
You're kidding!
Apparently ZZ Top were like sex symbols, like, to some group of people.
Is that why you grow a beard?
Yeah. I was like, this works. Yeah.
Wow!
Go and take their shirts off.
That's insane.
So we didn't stay super long. I mean, we obviously saw all of Loverboy, and we didn't stay super long for ZZ Top because I think my dad was like,
This is
I don't
so
know,
much
stupid. I don't care
boobs.
about this. Yeah, I don't think he was even concerned about this. I think we both agreed that ZZ Top is dumb or whatever. What? They're just singing about stupid cars or whatever.
Was your dad though? Was he like, okay, but we will stay for Can't Drive 55?
No, he didn't say that. So yeah, that was my first concert.
That's good. That's a good story.
Mine was the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Where
with
was
my
that at?
sister at the Palace. And my dad took us.
Cute.
And listeners don't know my dad, most of you. Especially this particular version of my dad when I was probably 14. I think 12 and 14 is probably pretty safe. Maybe 13 and 15 for me and my sister.
Okay.
We were so into them with posters, and we would like make up choreographed dances to their albums, and
we were cute.
The two of us were just really, we had a scrapbook together. We would like cut stuff out of magazines and put it in a scrapbook. Like, me and my sister were big time Backstreet Boy fans.
Oh, that's cute.
But thinking about my dad taking us there now, I find very heartwarming. Like, at the time, I didn't think like my dad could literally not want to do anything less. He also just wasn't that kind of dad. Sorry, Dad. But I'm like, man, he really toughed it out. Bought us those tickets and took us. I just remember that they were like, they came in like flying on like strings, from the ceiling.
That's sweet.
And
That's very cool.
the second concert I ever saw was the Bare Naked Ladies, and I went with a boy that I had a crush on ish in high school. Yeah. I was like trying to impress. I like pretended I liked them and went to this concert with him, and I was like, wow, he likes this band a lot, and I do not.
And the thing is, he would have hated the fact that you pretended to like that
I
band.
know. Well, I was young. What are you gonna do? That's what you do.
We all make mistakes. All right, my turn.
Oh, you're really gonna pick one? I saw you digging through.
I'm trying to remember what was in there. All right.
So we'll do one more round.
Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, that's a good one. First pet.
Ooh.
Ooh, Chris says. So I had my first...
Did you ever have a pet to take? Like, not a family pet, but like
my
Matt's pet.
I did have a fish when I was very young that I killed because I took it out of the water because I was like, oh, he's so wet, I want to dry him off. I took him out and he died. Yeah, I was like real young.
So pause this. My 3-year-old, like 4-year-old, almost 4-year-old wants I was like thinking about getting him a fish first, but isn't that going to happen? Isn't that like inevitable?
Yeah,
Or it's like too young, right?
I don't know. It's like a learning experience.
I mean, there's not much you can do with a fish, so
But
it's not...
I mean, he's definitely going to kill it somehow.
Yeah, he's
either
gonna take it out,
like,
squish it, or take it out.
Yeah, you
and
either
let it
like
die.
take it out
or feed it too much.
and like that's why I'm like, should I even buy? Anyways,
I mean, it's like I said, it's an experience.
Sure.
Anyway, and I think that was my first official pet. I think that first we had like 2 first family pets because right around the same time, my dad and stepmom got a cat, which was a stray cat who was coming to the house. And for some reason, one of them started putting food out in the back because there was just a cat in the backyard. And I'm like, I don't know, milk or whatever they were putting out. And eventually, the cat just came inside and I kept it. And then about the same time, my mom and stepdad got my brother and I a dog. He was a golden retriever mixed with a cocker spaniel, I believe. And his name was Cosmo. The cat's name was Skiggy. Cosmo was a good dog. He was a very sweet dog. As being a golden retriever with a cocker, mixed with a cocker spaniel, that's like a good.
there is literally like not a bad bone in there. In that mix, it's like
fairly cuddly, friendly, loving, energetic dogs. But are just as happy. He was just happy to lay down and take a nap, go play. Like, whatever you want to do, he was down.
Right.
So that was my first. Yeah, those were my first pets. Kiki was a good cat too. He was like a little mean. Like, he made me nervous when I was a kid because I was scared of like cats' claws.
Yeah, cats are kind of scary for.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and they're kind of erratic. Like,
yeah, I couldn't tell like what the cat wanted or what
That's
what I mean?
cats, man.
Yeah. So that is cats.
And he had his claws.
He had his claws. Yeah. Those are my first 2 pets. Those were both good pets, actually. They were both good cat, good dog. Yeah.
We had a golden. We've always had Labradors because my dad hunts, and he would always had a hunting dog. So they were always really well trained and very sweet. But the one I had when I was born his name was Benny.
Oh.
And he was very sweet. Just as old. I mean, in my memory, he's old. I think he died when I was like maybe 7.
Oh.
But my first pet was a guinea pig. I still feel guilt because I was not a great guinea pig mom.
Oh.
I don't know, like rodents, they're hard to, I just could never really dive in there and take care of it.
Yeah.
My sister was awesome at it, and she took care of my guinea. Jumped right in, and she had one too, and she just took care of both of ours. But the one, it lived in my room, and it was technically mine. His name was Abner.
Oh, little Abner.
He was very cute.
Oh.
I named it Abby, and then it was a boy, so I had to name it Abner. Yeah.
And you don't have to.
He's indifferent.
Look, it was a different time.
Okay. So we had a dog. My mom or my aunt called my mom and said this dog was hanging around their work, and they didn't want to take it to the pound, so they wanted to know if we wanted a dog. And so they brought it over to our house, and it was a very fat dog. I don't remember what kind it was. It was just kind of white.
So you're like,
shaggy,
someone's feeding
fat.
this dog.
Well, so we named it Pudgy because she was fat, but she would go hang out in our basement a lot, keep to herself. Well, come to find out, Pudgy was fat because Pudgy was pregnant. And about a week after we had Pudgy, she gave birth to a litter of puppies in our basement.
Oh my God.
So we were all excited because we're like, Mom, we have puppies. We have so many puppies. And we had to get rid of the puppies. So we sold them and stuff. But I remember Pudgy being a good dog, like docile and friendly, but she would run away a lot.
Aww.
And I remember overhearing my dad theorizing, well, I bet the gate's being jarred open a bit, and then she just kind of nudges her way out and explores. And so I wanted to put this to the test, because I was like 6 and did not realize there were consequences to things. And so one day I'm in the backyard, I just kind of nudged the gate open just so I could see if Pudgy walks away. She did. And then my dad, that was the last straw. We're sending her to the pound. And took her to the pound.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a pretty harsh...
Yeah.
Yeah. So she ran away.
Killed that dog.
The last time she ran away, that was it for your dad? And
that
it was
the
your
last
fault?
straw. And it was my fault. This day, unless he's listening to the podcast, he does not know that.
Why?
Whoa.
Tell him.
I guess I could. I guess he couldn't be mad now.
I mean, that's pretty heavy for a kid. I mean,
yeah,
I can't believe you didn't tell your parents it was you.
Yeah. Yeah,
this story is very shocking.
Yeah, I don't like this story at all. He should be at least sharing the guilt with you.
I to this day, I remember him putting the dog in the car and driving off. And I don't think any of us, were super fond of Pudgy, so I don't think we were sad. And I was young enough where I was like, oh, whatever, bye, Pudgy.
Yeah, 6, you're kind of...
I feel a little guilty today, but hopefully she...
How long did Pudgy live with you?
Oh,
it's not like you had her for
years. It had to be
or
less
anything.
than a year.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot of time to get
we had another dog shortly afterwards.
Yeah, having puppies is so stressful. Jeez.
Yeah. Beth, why don't you choose another thing?
First car. My first car, was a gold Saturn station wagon.
I like that car.
It was a great car.
It was a good car. It was a good Beth car.
It was. It suited me very well. I actually took really good care of it.
You did take good care of it.
It's probably the only car I've ever actually taken care of. And I loved that car. And then when I would have been, when my sister turned 16... I would have been turning 18. My parents... because it was like my high school graduation present was a Ford Escort. A red Ford Escort. And then they gave my sister the Saturn when she got her license, and she immediately totaled it. I mean, within a month of getting my beloved Saturn that I just took so much care of.
Oh, I like that Escort too.
Totaled it.
Yeah.
She got T-boned in at an intersection.
Kids shouldn't be driving.
I know. I mean, kids getting... think about it. A 16-year-old getting their license. I'm like, I don't know how they're all just not smashed up on the side of the road all the time. Just so stressful.
Yeah.
And then, you don't have the experience... So much of driving... I was actually thinking about this today because I'm listening to this, book about... how habits form and just all the micro habits that we have driving, you know, and how long it takes to develop those. So you don't have them when you're learning how to drive. Mm-hmm. But even little subtle things you notice at intersections, or if someone else is going through a yellow or going through a red, so you're waiting to go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Little stuff that you notice now because you've been driving that 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds don't. Mm-hmm. That's just what happened with my sister. She got T-boned, but if she was a more experienced driver, she wouldn't have been in that accident.
Right,
it was so I don't know how they're all just not smashed up on the side of the road all the time. But Matt, don't you have a really good first car? Is it the van? Or am I thinking of...
I mean, if you consider that a really good first car, yes.
I mean, it's a perfect story for a first car.
It was I had a Dodge...
It was huge.
Caravan. It was like a minivan.
Wow.
It was purple.
It was huge.
Purple, yeah, with a sliding door on the side. That was a good van. That was a cool car. It was I wasn't embarrassed about having it, and I don't actually remember driving it super long before I got into an accident. Maybe a semester or maybe a school year. Yeah, it might have been a school year. And then, right in the beginning of the summer, I had several people in my car. We were leaving Wendy's. And I was, talking to somebody in the rearview mirror, and I, rear-ended somebody. And then that car went away. Oh. Yeah. It was a good van. It was a good car. Nobody got hurt, so it was okay in the end. It was fine. The guy who I hit was very nice about it. He felt bad that I hit him. I was like,
it would be great to have when you're a teenager. You can bring all your friends around.
No, that's the thing. You don't want anybody else in your car when you're a teenager because you get distracted.
Oh, that's true. You're still a little terrified of driving.